I'd like to go to Dr. Cody and the intervention in Giggle versus Tickle, please. Thank you for appearing, Dr. Cody. What are you arguing in your... This is the case of someone, Giggle versus Tickle, who was born a biological male being stopped from joining a women-only app. What are you arguing in your intervention? How much are you being paid by the taxpayers to go in and bat for biological, born and developed men to be allowed into women's spaces?
Thank you, Senator. The role that we have within the case Giggle and Tickle is intervention, so amicus curiae, so helping the court to understand the interpretation of the Sex Discrimination Act and the amendments from 2013. Also how the Convention for the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women applies, whether or not there are special measures and the understanding of Section 5 and Section 7 of the Sex Discrimination Act. So we were given leave by the court to assist them to understand those issues and also the constitutionality of the Sex Discrimination Act. In terms of the cost, we have two counsel who were briefed. One who both agreed to appear on a capped fee basis, so that's a reduced fee. So one was paid $13,000 and the other one was paid $10,000.
Thank you. What I actually asked Dr. Cody was, how much are you paid by the taxpayers to go in and bat for biological born and developed men?
So my salary is similar to that you mentioned for Commissioner Sivaraman. About
$400,000 per year plus 15.4% super.
Correct.
Thank you. If a woman took a case... just so that I can be clear, your position is that the law means a biological man who identifies as a transgender woman can enter a female-only space?
So I would question whether or not Roxanne Tickle is not a man. She is a trans woman, and so she has gone through various processes and has transitioned, and she's a trans woman. So she has access, or sought access, was provided access to the Giggle for Girls app, and then was taken off the access to Giggle for Girls app.
So what sort of chromosomes does she have? XX or XY?
I can't answer that, Senator.
You can't?
No, I can't answer that.
Wow. If a woman took a case to court today trying to stop a person with a penis... Well, let's come back to that. Can someone who was born on XY chromosomes change to XX chromosomes? A male change to female?
I don't believe so, but I'm not a scientist. There are many variations of chromosomes. There are hormonal variations, there's chromosomal variations, there's genitalia variations, there's a lot of variations which are along a spectrum.
Would you agree that a piece of legislation can't change a person's sex? If born a man, they are a man. If they're born with XY chromosomes, they're a man and they stay a man?
No, I would not agree.
You don't agree?
No.
If a woman took a case to court today, Dr. Cody, trying to stop a person with a penis who identified as a female going into a women's bathroom, which side would you be arguing for if you were there as a friend of the court?
Could you repeat that,
sure,
Senator?
If a woman took a case to court today, trying to stop a person with a penis who identified as a female going into a woman's bathroom, which side would you be arguing for if you were the friend of the court?
I would need to know more facts, Senator. I can't make a judgment on that in particular.
So come back to your previous answer. You talked
Senator?
about XX, XY, you didn't really know the answer. How can you make a decision on sex?
The issue that I'm saying around me not being able to identify whether someone has XX or XY is because I haven't tested them. I'm not a scientist. That's not my area of expertise.
If a person was born male, that's XY. Born
Not
female,
always.
that's XX.
Not always, Senator.
No?
No.
Can you give me an example when not?
Because there are also people who have innate variations of sex characteristics, and so they may be identified as male at birth, but in fact then later find out that they have XY chromosomes or XX chromosomes. So it is more complex than just XX being female and XY being male.
I'll agree with that, but it's a very, very tiny proportion of the population. But someone who was born a man, a boy, as XY chromosomes cannot change to XX. Is that correct?
If they are born, if their chromosomes are XY, then their chromosomes, I don't believe they can change, but as I repeat, I'm not a scientist, so I haven't studied whether or not
so you're
they
not a
can
scientist.
change it.
How do you know which side to take in a court case?
I'm not taking a side within a court case. Our role is as amicus, so that is to provide clarification, help to the court in understanding the legal issues that are in dispute.
So how can you clarify if you don't understand?
I understand the law. What I don't understand is the science around the XX, XY, unless the evidence is before the court. So my role is to assist the court with understanding the legal argument.
On my reading of what you've said in Giggle versus Tickle, the position on biological males and female spaces seems pretty clear at the Human Rights Commission. Could you explain?
What would you like me to explain, sorry, Senator?
What your position is?
On which issue?
The position on biological males in female spaces. Could you please explain the Human Rights Commission, your position on that?
What do you mean by biological males, Senator?
Someone born as a male, XY chromosomes.
So if they are a man, and depending on which space they are wanting to enter, then and why that space has been created, if it's a special measure, for example, for ensuring equality of women, then there may be good reason to exclude men from that space.
What would be some of the reasons?
For safety reasons, for example.
What sort of safety reasons?
Potentially at a domestic violence refuge, there may be a reason why, certainly there is a reason why men would be excluded from a domestic violence refuge for women.
Female prison?
In female prisons, then also it's made for women, and therefore men would be excluded from women's prison.
Okay, thank you.